Hello, 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 and welcome. Welcome to the Alert Factor. I am Nancy Allert. I'm a real estate broker in the DC metro area, and this show is going to be all about real estate. We're going to be talking about everything you can possibly think about as it relates to real estate, as it relates to luxury living, as it relates to investing, creating wealth through real estate, which property you should think about purchasing for creating your generational wealth, your luxury property. Where is the best spot for vacation home, waterfront properties? Everything real estate related are going to be discussed on the Alert Factor. And like I said, I'm Nancy Alert, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Today, we're going to be speaking with Heidi Bolyard, an architect, regarding simplified living architecture. So, in a few minutes, I will bring Heidi over so we can get on with the discussing and how you can use as realtors, how realtors and everyone else, but we're focusing on realtors today, how you can use architecture, use the eye of architecture and feng shui in your selling process to increase the sale of your listings and increase the bottom line of your clients. So, without any further ado, I will bring Ms. Heidi Bolyard, president of Sold by Design. Hi, Heidi.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me today.
I am so glad you're able to join us today. So, we're going to dive right in. Architecture, real estate, simplified architecture. Tell me. So, how long have you been an architect?
I have, been in the industry for over 21 years.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
amazing. Time flies when you're having fun.
And at what point did you say, okay, I'm an architect, I'm in this industry, I am going to pivot towards, or did you pivot towards focusing on realtors and how we can increase our clients' bottom line with architecture?
So the idea was I wanted to serve more people and find a way, as an architect, I can only, help so many people. Not everybody's in the, looking to hire an architect to redesign their home or build a new home, their new dream home to fit their lifestyle and align with them and their family. So, I was thinking through like, how can I touch more lives? And so I was thinking about real estate agents. So, really helping them help their buyers find their perfect dream home.
Right. And that is touching a lot of lives. That is touching a
Absolutely.
lot of lives because if you can connect with a lot of realtors and show them how basically following a few steps, they can actually sell more homes, help their clients realize their dream by getting the property looking the way they want to look at it, look wanted to look without breaking the bank, so to speak, right? Because you don't
Yeah.
have to go recreate and rebuild the whole house, but you can do a few things. And give us a few examples of what are a few things that we can do just off the bat that will make a big shift in price or even in aesthetics.
Well, I think the one thing as a real estate agent that you can do when helping clients buy their new home is walking through their existing home, like seeing what they like and what they don't like about their existing home
Mm.
is, just an amazing like way to collect knowledge when you're helping them buy.
I think that that is actually a perfect example, but I don't think a lot of realtors understand that that is something they should do. I know for a fact that I have not every time, but I have done it a number of times because, especially when you have that one client that is telling you one thing that they want, and when you show them that it's not resonating, it's not showing up, that is not what they want. So then you're like, well, what is it? You're telling me this is what you want and I'm showing you this. However, when you see it, you're like, no, that's not what I want. And in those instances, I usually go and take a look at, let me see the home that you're living in, whether it's a rental property or whether you own the property, right? When you
Yeah.
walked in, you decided What was it? There was something about that property. There was something about a room, the neighborhood, the feel that made you say, you know what? This is it. This is where I want to lay, right? So if you are able to see where they currently live, right? And what it is about that home that they're in right now that made them say, yes, this is the house I want to buy, or this is the house I want to rent, then it will better able to help you. It will help you significantly
Yeah.
cut down your running around and showing time. If you
Mhm.
see what it is that they love that made their heart say yes, it will make your life as a realtor significantly easy, right?
Absolutely. And you're totally right too. Like even if they're living in a rental property, like there was so many rental properties they could have chosen to live in and they chose that one. So finding out the reasons why they picked that home to live in.
Mm-hmm.
So really like what you were asking earlier just about the best ways to look at a home like that you're selling,
Mm-hmm.
really it makes it so much easier if you think in terms of like what the buyer could be looking for. Like just because you may have a formal dining room in your home,
Mm-hmm.
not everybody wants a formal dining room. So how could that space be used for something else?
Right.
So, give them some ideas about what it could be used for.
Because it's
Put a
sort of like,
billiards table in a dining room.
right, exactly. A lot of people, seriously, a lot of people now, the kitchen is an extension of the dining room, right? You have the big
Yeah.
island with the high chairs and the benches and whatnot, and you have that open situation. So a lot of people spend time there. So that's why you need to know what are the things that make you say yes and make you feel like this is going to be home instead of trying to just show people everything that's available in their price range,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Well, and one of the other things that I suggest people do, like even like beyond looking at their home and kind of walking through and finding out what they like and what they don't like about their home,
Mhm.
is finding out if they have like a idea page about homes on like either Pinterest or on House, because that's, those idea, boards can give you
Mhm.
so much more information about what the client's looking for. Just to, it's easier to jump online and look at a bunch of ideas and things they like than running them around town to look at a bunch.
Exactly, exactly. And this is why a lot of buyers go to open houses first and
Mhm.
stuff. So they're going, and even when, like a seller, when they're looking to sell their home and someone else has a property on the market in their neighborhood, they're going basically to steal ideas. That's what they're going to. They're going to see
Yeah.
what you have done differently than I have done, or get some ideas because they might not be that creative in what can be done, but they look at the neighbor's house and like, oh my God, I never thought about that. I never thought I can take that little tiny bedroom and make it into a walk-in closet and a fabulous master bathroom suite, right? But you saw that they
Absolutely.
did it, and now you're ready to jump in on that, right?
Well,
So it's all about looking at it with your eyes. So like when I go on a listing presentation, the sellers always want to show you the house. But I always tell them, you can show it to me later. But what I would like to do, I would like to see it through the buyer's eyes. I want to see what the buyers are seeing when they walk in. I don't want you to tell me what you think the highlights are of this home, right? Because you have your own highlights of the home. You
right.
have the things that make you feel really great about it. But
Mhm.
those might not be the same thing that the buyer wants. They might want
Yeah.
something. So if I'm looking at it unobstructed, not hearing what you're telling me, I get to see how someone that's walking in sees it. And then we're able to do some of the things that you're going to tell us that we need to do, right? To help sell the home faster and help our clients and even just help our buyers to realize the space that they want, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
So we will be back shortly, and we will continue with Heidi Bolyard, and we will show you some before and after when we get back. Take a short commercial break.
This is the Bloomberg Real Estate Report, brought to you by Fidelity. Well, home buying is so stressful these days that people are actually crying about it. Half of the home buyers surveyed by Zillow say they've been in tears at some point in the process. Better news may be right around the corner, though, because inventory is rising in some markets. Jocelyn Melkasian is realtor at La Macchia Realty. She says just wait a few months if you're trying to buy.
Inventory levels are always the higher in the fall than they are in the spring.
And Melkasian also says there are other reasons to think it might be about to get a little easier for home buyers.
The interest rates are going up, and it's a midterm election year. The last time we saw a slow fall was really the fall of 2018 when interest rates crept up, and it was a midterm election year. And I think the same is going to happen this year. So right now we're at the very, very beginning stages.
Redfin, meantime, says more than 1 in 5 sellers are already dropping prices to help close sales. And that's the Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. This is...
I'm Charles Meriday, and I'm in the restaurant business. In my 20 years as a chef and restaurant owner, I've been able to work and eat in some of the great kitchens around the globe. There's a whole side of the restaurant that most people will never get to see. So now, I want to take you to the back of the house, into kitchens of some of the best chefs in the world. Along the way, I'll share some of my own tips and recipes so you can cook like a pro too. So join me in the back of the house for a whole new perspective on cooking and food. Order in. Roger. Serve it, please. I'm glad that you came, please.
Tyson, go. If you're gonna snore, go. We are back. We are back with Heidi Bolyard, architecture. We're talking about simplified living architecture. So Heidi.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, Heidi, we're back. So I know you talked a little bit about how long you've been an architect and how long you've been in the industry. So one of my questions is, before we go deep in and show some before and afters, is when did you know that this is what you wanted to do? You wanted to be in this space, in this industry. When did you know that?
As an architect?
Mm-hmm.
Really early on. So I was in high school actually, and I went to school in a rural area.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a lot of opportunities for different electives. Mm-hmm. So I was like, ooh, I'm going to try this residential drafting class. And I fell in love with it, and then I just stuck with it since. So it's been a while.
Nice. It's great when you're doing something you love, right? Because
Yeah.
if you're doing
Yeah,
something you love,
so
you're
much
not
fun.
working.
Mhm.
Right. So, and when did you decide that real estate, the realtors is where I want to focus on, and then creating the program that we're going to talk about shortly? When did you decide I'm going to focus on realtors and I'm going to create this 4-week program to help realtors? Or did the program come before you working with the realtors, or the egg before the chicken? When did it happen?
Kind of the program came before I started working with realtors. Like I was just brainstorming different ideas about how I could improve or help people improve where they live. And just, I talk a lot about your home being your sanctuary and your retreat to rest and renew from the busy outside world. So
Yes.
how can I create that for more people? Like, how can I create more happiness in more people's lives?
That's great. And so that's what you're doing now with realtors. So tell us about the 4-week program that you've created to help realtors simplified living architecture, to help realtors help their clients see a better return and
Yeah,
making a
to help them
future.
sell more homes.
To help
Yeah.
put more money in the realtor's pocket and put more money in the seller's pocket. So tell us about the
And do
program.
it faster.
Yes.
Save time. So yeah, we created a 4-week framework. That's the acronym for it is SOLD.
Mm-hmm.
So it's simplifying the process. So really working with realtors to see what they're doing now and what we can tweak in their process to improve how they sell. And then the O in SOLD is outlining the client's goals and their dreams and their needs. So we kind of already talked about that with like visiting their homes. So we're seeing what their idea boards are and things like that. And then the third part of that is L, and it's the layout of the home. So of the home that you're looking at, like just looking at little things like we mentioned earlier, just because it's a dining room now doesn't mean it needs to be a dining room in the future. Or just, looking at the spaces, what spaces are oversized, because in a lot of homes they're compartmentalized. What's too big, what's too small, like how can we work with that? And then the last step of it, D, is details of the existing conditions of the home. So I also teach about mechanical systems and structural systems, bearing walls, like locating bearing walls and things. Just because it's fairly simple to spot some of those things. It's just having the proper training to really understand that. Not that you don't need to still hire, an inspector to help go through the home, because even when I purchased a home, I hired an inspector because they're trained to do, some really specific things.
So would you say there is a specific technique that you teach realtors and others to, when they walk into a home, to see things that someone else wouldn't see, that you can tweak or you can make shifts to improve the space and make it either flow better, easier, or just make it brighter? Just what is the technique that they can use?
Right. So just going, just kind of the things you mentioned, like, sometimes if it's too dark of a space, like looking at the window fixtures and see what's there, because, people love those wood blinds, but that they absorb light. Stained wood, like, unfortunately, it's beautiful, but it absorbs light. And
Right.
So it makes a space much darker. And when it's darker, it also feels smaller. So that, and then also just like what I said with like locating bearing walls, like if we can if they understand where bearing walls are, it could also give them the opportunity, well, this is a really compartmentalized home. Like, what if we opened up, we could just take out the wall between the dining
Right.
room and the kitchen.
Right. And so realtors, we're not saying you have to be architects. However,
No.
in this industry, right, as a realtor, I always think that creative is everything, right? I've been creative from day one when I became a realtor. I think that is very important. You have to have a little bit of a creativity. So when you walk into a space, no, you're not an architect. No, you're not a contractor, but you should be able to have those ideas flowing. When you walk in, you should be able to say, oh, if you do this, this, and this is what will happen, and this is what the return will be. Now you have to decide based on what the cost will be to do this, this, and this, and then what the return is. Do you want to do that? Sometimes it's just for, even if you're not selling the home, but you want to make the space a little more user friendly, right? Because we're looking at all these open spaces now. We want remove walls. So you need to know, is this a load bearing wall? And how do you tell if it's a load bearing wall? How do you tell if it's a load bearing wall?
Well, I live in the Midwest, so most of us have basements, so it makes it really easy. But in other areas of the country, like sometimes you have up in the attic, so it's not so easy to just be able to do that during a showing necessarily. But it is, once you're looking at the spaces, a bearing wall normally goes the whole the whole span through the house. So if there's one wall that is continuous through the house, that's normally the bearing wall.
I see.
So,
you would say if you have a kitchen and there's a wall separating the kitchen from the dining room, because that's always what people say, oh, can I just knock that down, right? And then would that be, or is that a possibility that would be a load bearing wall, or not necessarily? And even if it is, can
possibly, but not necessarily. But too, like you can, like I tell my clients also, I'm like, you can do anything you want. How much do you want to spend?
Right. Okay. So whatever you want to spend, you can do whatever you want.
But at least like giving them some ideas that they can, kind of guide, so a real estate agent can guide their clients into, some opportunities. So it's really looking at all those puzzle pieces. Like, so if you do the right, when you're outlining what the client's goals are and everything, if you know all the puzzle pieces that they're really looking for in the home, it's kind of, making sure the home has that and just walking them through how that could be accomplished in the home that you're walking through. Because too, it's not like you have a whole lot of time when you're showing homes.
Right.
So it's going through, but also like if you can look at the pictures of the listing ahead of time, and kind of be able to start going through and seeing where those spaces are and how they're connected to one another. So when you do visit the home, you might have a little bit better understanding of how that flow is within the home.
Right. So let's see if we can show a before and after right now, so we can show the audience what little change can make. So this was the hallway.
Well, it was a hallway, but it was also the family room.
This is a family room.
We just and the kitchen was right past that corner that you see there. So yeah, there was just a really awkwardly placed half bathroom in the middle of the home.
Oh wow! So tell me, what did you do?
We were able to shift that into an oversized space, just so we could open up those two rooms and completely change how the home flows for the homeowner.
So what did you do? And tell us a little bit about what did you do from the before to the after. What did you move? Did you move the bathroom?
We moved the little half bathroom. So they had a huge living room, and formal living room in the home. And they had just purchased this home and they weren't planning to use that space at all. So we actually used that instead of adding space to the home for a mudroom. We actually were able to use part of that formal living room for a small mudroom and to tuck their half bathroom. And then that allowed us to completely open up that space between the family room and the kitchen.
Because it looks like a really nice family room. So
yeah, it was beautiful.
Right. So what we will do now is we will take another break and we will be back to talk more about architecture in your simplified living architecture with Heidi Bolyard. And this is
the Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. By one measure, there are actually more short-term rentals like Airbnbs and Verbos than there are regular apartments to rent in parts of New York City. Michael Tobin is reporter for Bloomberg News.
There were about 13,000 short-term rentals listed on Airbnb and Expedia's Vrbo platform, which is their short-term rental platform. And retail inventory for apartments in Manhattan, Brooklyn, and a portion of Queens hovers at just about 7 7,500.
All this according to a third-party data tracker called AirDNA and a report of apartment inventory by Douglas Elliman. Tobin says this is making it difficult for some people to find a place to rent and even harder for those looking for a deal.
If you're going in to have a negotiation with your landlord on rent, your landlord is definitely going to have the upper hand on how much they can charge you.
And on top of this, home buyers have also been flocking back to some urban areas, according to Miller Samuel and Douglas Elliman. And that's the Bloomberg Real Estate Report.
We're back. We're back again. This is the Alert Factor, and we're with Heidi Bolyard, architect, and we're talking about simplified living architecture. So, what that means is it's sort of the way you look at spaces. It's like showing the space instead of describing the space, right? You show it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a
Showing-
great description.
Yeah, showing the space instead of describing the space. So you can see it, because you can describe it all day long, but when you see it, you really get it, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, in your 4 weeks course, what does the student learn? And I'm going to say realtor. What does the realtor learn so that they're able to go out the 5th week and help their client sell their home faster, make more money, and makes themselves more money? Because that's the end of this, right? To help you do your job a little better, right? So what do they learn that will give them the opportunity to immediately be able to change?
So really, they're learning they're basically learning the same process that I use when going in to meet with a new client that's looking to renovate or build a new home.
Mm.
So that process of listening to what they're looking for, and then also design ideas. So to be able to give them some design skills. And we start with looking at, because sometimes for people that can be really challenging to think about other homes and how they could work. So think about your own home. Think about what you like in your own home and what you would want to change, because you're in that space all the time. So that kind of helps you start thinking differently about homes.
Mhm.
And then also within that, also we teach about the mechanical systems and the windows. I know that when I was looking for a new home a few years ago, my realtor was amazing with being able to give me information like, well, this home's 30 years old. This is the original furnace, the original windows, original, air conditioning condenser and water heater and flooring. And you're going to have to replace several things coming up soon. And like if the home was already in the higher price point of where I wanted to be, I was, without even hiring an inspector, which can cost several $100s,
Mhm.
like I was able to just save her the time of having to put together an offer and save me the time and money of hiring an inspector.
I got it. So, what we're saying here, so we want the audience to get this. What we're saying is, we're not saying for you not to have a home inspection. We're not saying that at all. What we're saying is, the simplified living architecture is for the realtors to actually do a better job, help you before you spend $600 on a home inspection and find out that this is not really the house for you, because it's already, like you said, at the top of your budget, which means now you have to budget to pay for these additional items. Or in one sense, what it can do is the realtor is pointing out to you ahead of time. I love this, because this is us doing the job that we're paid for, right?
Mhm.
We are paid to help you. We're representing you, the buyer. So we're paid to help you get the best deal and get the property of your dreams, right?
Yeah. Well, and it helps realtors serve their clients on a higher level.
That's what I'm saying.
These
That makes
realtors are asking their clients questions that
Mhm.
these people have never had somebody ask them probably before in their lives.
So it
So you're
makes you
serving
stand
them on
out.
such a high level, they feel heard,
Mhm.
which,
Mhm.
it's, a big part of what I do is I listen.
Yeah.
Like it's really important to be a really good listener.
I
So
like this.
quality questions and listen to the answers, not think about what you're going to be asking next.
Well, they said that's a good communicator, right? You pay
Right.
attention to what's being said instead of working in your brain. Well, what am I going to say next? But I like this because it elevates us in our industry. It separates you from the others, right? Because you are doing something that everyone else is not doing, right? Which everyone else should be doing. You are actually asking the hard questions. You're asking the questions that will enable you to find your client the best property in the shortest time frame, and it will help you sell your client's property in the shortest time frame and make them as much money as possible. And I know people say, "Oh, well, in this market, the house sells." Well, yeah, okay, come back later when it's not this market, right? Because as a realtor that's been in the industry for 26 years, I've seen all the markets, right? So there are those markets where you just put a house on the market and you don't even need a sign and it sells. But
Yeah.
when you have a real professional, real realtor, is when the market is down and when it requires work for you to sell that property, when it requires more than 2 days, 2 hours to sell it, then you have a real realtor. And that's when what you're talking about, Heidi, is going to come to play. This is going to separate realtors, the best from the best, right? The best from the
Yeah.
better, or the better from the best, whichever way you want to look at it. It will do that because you will be asking the questions. You'll be able to help your clients to know ahead of time, well, okay, looks like I'm going to need a new furnace before you do the home inspection. Then when you write the offer, maybe you will write the offer anyway, and then you will ask the owners ahead of time for you to get a home warranty. that if you know you have to budget for it, then the home warranty will help you later on if something happens, right? But if you wait until you do the home inspection, but you don't know that you have that home warranty, and then they're like, no, we're not going to do that, then you already spent $600-700 depending on the price of the property, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think, Heidi, this is a fantastic idea. I love it. And it's only 4 weeks, right? It's
Yes.
only 4 weeks.
Yeah, it's 4 weeks.
4 weeks. And so tell us, if someone was interested in participating in taking your course, learning more about simplified living architecture, where can they go to find out more information?
Well, for our architecture firms, Simplified Living Architecture, and then our training company for real estate agents, that's actually called Sold by Design, and they can go to soldbydesign.net.
Soldbydesign.net. And I love that because, I have this saying, life by design, because I'm living a life by design, and sold by design, that means you designed it. You designed the way it's going. I love it. I absolutely love that.
Like your life, it's your home.
It is your home. And where do you do most? So this course is online, so it doesn't matter where you are, a realtor. You can be in the Cayman Islands.
That's right.
You can be in Hawaii. You can be in the DC metro area. This is why I love it. And I'm so happy that I met you. Just a little side note. I met Heidi at a Grant Cardone Growth Conference this past March, which was a fantastic conference, right? I mean, we learned
absolutely.
a lot. And we started talking about real estate and architecture. And I'm like, oh my God, I have to have you on the Alert Factor. And here we are. So I am so happy that we met there and we were able to get you to come on to discuss how you can help the real estate industry, how can you help realtors do their jobs a little better, make more money. And for the clients, it's with ease, less time. I love every portion of that.
And one thing I tell people too, like with, happy clients, you get referrals. So who doesn't love referrals? It's so
Who doesn't love referrals?
So, if you have clients that are they're ecstatic about, the process that you took them through to help them buy their perfect dream home, they are going to refer you to everyone they know. So,
and that's what I tell people. So whenever you do something different,
when you're serving on a higher level,
and your clients tell their friends, and their friends are like, wait a minute, my realtor didn't do that. What did she do? Or what did he do? He did that. Well, can you give me their information? And that is the best thing. That way you're not out looking for clients every day. Because why? The clients that you have right now, because you've done such an amazing job, their second job is referring you. Because I like to say, I have a client, I'm just going to say her name is Charlotte. And I think her second job was to refer business to me. I really do. I mean, because she was so happy with what I've done for her through the years that she consistently refers business to me. And that's what you want. You want to get a consistent set of referrals so that you don't have to think about, oh my God, where am I getting my next client from? And when am I going to do this, that, or a third? But we're going to take a small break and then we'll be right back to talk more with Heidi Bolyard and about our
This is the Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini. Demand for homes in Southern California and elsewhere is softening, but buyers are still scrambling to find the place they like that they can afford.
It's still definitely a seller's market. Inventory is low.
Marco Santarelli is founder and CEO of Narada Real Estate Investments.
What we have to realize is that we've been in a strong seller's market for quite a long time, and there's such a lack of inventory in Southern California, especially in Orange County and LA County, that demand still outstrips supply.
Santarelli also says instead of discouraging people from buying, though, rising mortgage rates and work from home options, well, that's all just shifting some demand to more far-flung suburbs.
What people do, if they can't afford what they could have afforded before, is they move to more outlying regions. So you drive until you can afford to purchase whatever it is you're looking for.
And that's the Bloomberg Real Estate Report. I'm Denise Pellegrini.
I used to watch BET, MTV, VH1, now I watch Tempo. Soca, Calypso, Reggae Dancehall. Don't stall, better get tuned in to the Tempo. Don't have cable, they got an app. Go to your app store, download that. Whether it's tourism, cuisine, or the social scenes, if it ain't Tempo, it's a rap. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too? Tempo. Who got the Caribbean views? Tempo. Mr. Latest in Caribbean news? Tempo. You tryna cook Caribbean food? Tempo. You know they got the music videos too? Tempo.
We are back with the Alert Factor, and I am here with Heidi Bolyard, architect, and we are going to take a look at another before and after. And Heidi, just let us know a little bit about what you did, because we can see what did you do in this space?
So yeah, this is similar to what you were talking about earlier with being able to remove the wall between the kitchen and the formal dining room. So opening that space up where those ovens are, you can see there in the before picture, like we just removed that entire wall and it allowed for that nice big island in the middle of the kitchen that we all love so much.
I mean, look how different. I mean, look what just moving a wall and sometimes just painting or changing the floor or lightening the cabinets will make such a difference. I tell people sometimes it's not a big renovation that makes a difference. You have to have an eye, and you can see that those cabinets were just too dark for that small space.
Yeah, like I said, with the stained wood just absorbs light. But then also like at the front of the house, like we opened it up to the front of the house and there's, you know, some beautiful windows in the dining room that was there. So that allows those that natural light to flow all the way through the home.
And so the wall that we can see all of the cabinets and I'm assuming this is the oven, that's the wall that you removed.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, and you took it into, you said, the dining room area. I can see that, and
Mhm.
then put that center island. So we can see what that difference is right here.
Yeah.
So for the audience, can you give a brief? You might not be able to tell us exactly, but what roundabout would something like this cost?
Oh, it's so hard to say, and especially because we're in Ohio. I know you're out east. So prices vary so much.
Right.
But
Versus in the Washington,
and
D.C.
two,
metro area or New
this
York.
was done a while ago. So, the things that can really add up when you're doing a project is just, the complexity of it or the level of finish. So you can do something beautiful in a home. And as long as you don't have to have the most, the most expensive thing. Like if you really keep your budget in check, it can help you, there's some beautiful options at any price point. So
basically, you're saying you can have this beautiful space, you can make these changes, but the cost will depend on how bling do you want to be, right? How high end you want to be, right?
Yeah. But yeah, you can go on, even on light fixtures can be so expensive. Like you can go on to Wayfair and some different online websites like that and find some great economical options that are still absolutely stunning light fixtures. So it's really just, keeping your budget in mind and what you want to do. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I'm just going to go a little over on this. And then it's, in a little over on this and a little over on this.
Right.
And then before they know it, they're like, how did I get here? And I'm like, well, you went a little over on everything.
So isn't that the case though? Because I remember when we were just going to redo one bathroom, right? That's all we were going to do. We redid the bathroom and it looked so beautiful, right? Yeah. And then we're like, well, okay, let's change the floors in the living room and dining room, right? And then we changed that. And then we're like, well, we have paint now, right? So now it's almost like, because you don't want all this beautiful stuff that you just did, and then you have the old stuff, right? So then it highlights the older stuff. So you have to make the changes. But what you have to remember is it's as expensive as you will let it be, because you can have a beautiful space, you can make the changes, remove the walls and do all of that. But the finishes, of course, labor will cost, and especially like Heidi said, it depends on the complexity of the removing of structures, right? Removing of walls and things like that will cost you. But when it comes down to the appliances and the countertops, you have all kinds of options. You have quartz, you have corian, you have granite, you have silestone, all these things you can choose from that will fit right within your budget. And then it comes also with the cabinetry and all of that. So you can really design a nice space within your budget, whatever that budget is. You just have to find that contractor and that architect that will work with you to get you the space that you want and you need. So,
and with that kitchen, it was pretty nice. It was pretty easy because we were able to, that actually wasn't a bearing wall between the dining room and the kitchen. Right. So we were easily able to remove that and not have to worry about installing a beam to support that.
Nice. And then worry about the house falling down. I am so thankful and I'm so happy that we were able to have this moment today to discuss simplified living architecture. And for anyone that wants additional information on how they can take part or in Heidi's 4-week course, Heidi, again, your phone number, your email address, your website, let us know how we can get in touch with you if we want to take this 4-week course.
Yeah, the website is soldbydesign.net, or you can reach out to me by phone at 614-774-2490.
All right. So if you would like to take Heidi's course, please reach out to Heidi, soldbydesign.net. Yes. Soldbydesign.net. And you can reach Heidi and talk to her about when is your next course? Actually, when does it start?
We have one starting in 2 weeks. So,
You have 2 weeks.
and then
So-
too, if you're not able to make it when we do it live, then you can watch the recording as well. So we do a training session once a week, and then at the end of the week, we do a Q&A session just to answer questions every week.
Okay. Well, there you go. Sold by design, right? Sold by design,
Yes.
just like having a life by design. That's what it is.
That's
So
right.
thank you very much for joining us today, Heidi.
Thank you so much for having me, Nancy.
I've learned so much because I do understand as a realtor how important it is to differentiate yourself, right, from the rest, and also how to really truly do that job that is tasked to you, because helping someone buy a home or sell a home is one of the largest assets of these individuals, and they're trusting you, right? They're trusting you to take care of it. So I think that anything that you can do that can facilitate it, make it easier, faster, and make more money for your clients, I say go do it. Get it done, right? It's like my tagline, get it done, getting it done.
Yes, simplifying the process and getting it done, making more money and getting those referrals.
And we appreciate that. So thank you very much, Heidi, for stopping by and sharing your knowledge and your information about simplified living architecture. We thank you for being a part of this show, The Alert Factor. I am Nancy Allert. I am a real estate broker in the DC metro area, and I get it done every day. So I'm Nancy Alert, getting it done. Getting it done. See you next week.